It's time for the Savvy Realtor Podcast. I'm Walter Storholt alongside Angie Cole, the owner and broker in charge of A. Cole Realty, serving you throughout the Triangle, teaching you about the ins and outs when it comes to buying or selling a home. You can find the team online by going to acolerealty.com. That's A-C-O-L-E realty.com, or by calling 919-578-3128. That's 919-578-3128. And now it's time for one of the top realtors in the Triangle, Angie Cole, and the Savvy Realtor Podcast. It's time for another success story here on the Savvy Realtor. Walter Storholt here alongside Angie Cole. If you're just joining us, Angie's the owner of A. Cole Realty here in the Triangle. You can find us online by going to acolerealty.com. Listen to past episodes of the show. Check out the blog. Lots of other great information. Search for homes on the website as well. acolerealty.com. Again, Cole is spelled C-O-L-E. You can also call or text Angie at 919-538-6477. Don't forget that over the past 3 years, Angie and her team have helped more than 600 families buy or sell their homes. And Angie, I know that here on the Success Story, we feature some of those great examples of homes that have been closed recently, either bought or sold, and how your team was able to help the cause. Tell us a little bit about another couple of folks that come to mind.
Sure. So we had Richard and Laura, who are actually out-of-state clients. They contacted our team to help them out with purchasing a home in the area for investment purposes. But something a little bit different about these clients is they never truly stepped foot in the home that they purchased and they closed on.
Oh, one of
those.
So
they used us as a resource to actually be their eyes and ears throughout the process. And they had full confidence and trust in our team to find them the perfect investment property and close on it, only to see it several weeks later. But we're extremely amazed and extremely, pleasantly, surprised with the outcome and how everything went. They actually just wrote us an amazing review on Zillow, and a little bit of the review stated, living out of state, it is extremely important to find the right person who could be our eyes and ears locally and give us the guidance we needed to act from long distance. We were put in contact with Alex Harder, who's our buyer specialist, and he was exactly what we were looking for. And she goes on to say he was extremely responsive and helpful, but never pushed us to move faster than we were comfortable with. So, we love working with all different types of clients, and we definitely love working with clients who don't even have the convenience to be in here, actually, real time, to go about their home search. But once again, we can help you out by taking videos. We can FaceTime you in. There's so many ways to go about the process to make it just as smooth and seamless as if you were here and, as being like in person. So they had a wonderful experience. So congrats to Richard and Laura with purchasing your first investment property here in the Triangle area.
Buying a home is exciting enough, and then you add that sort of like, blindfold, or maybe we call this the bird box method of buying a home.
Yeah,
right? with
exactly. No, it really was, and I love. The review is seriously, it's like a page long. I love it. And she goes into detail how when they came to finally visit a couple of weeks after the closing, just in awe and so happy and surprised, but surprised in a good way, that it's exactly how they imagined the home to be, based on the videos that Alex took and just the detail that went into, helping throughout the process and purchasing this home. But you're right. It's kind of, you're blindsided, especially if you're not local, but that's where our team comes into play with helping you throughout that process.
Good example of kind of how the real estate landscape has changed, too, because you couldn't do that a couple of years ago. That would have been a lot harder task to pull off.
Yeah, that, goes to show you where technology really comes into play. A lot of people, or I would say most people, they always start their search online, but we now have the resource to use our phones to FaceTime you in, to make videos that we can share with you. So, we can be your eyes and ears throughout that process.
Another cool story of how Angie Cole and the team at A. Cole Realty helped somebody achieve that great success of buying a home here in the Triangle. If you have questions for the team, want to talk about your home search, you can get in touch a couple of different ways. You can call or text Angie at 919-538-6477. That's 919-538-6477. You can also start your search online at acolerealty.com and get in touch with the team there as well, acolerealty.com. Angie, for buyers, I know that you've helped put together, especially for first-time home buyers, a great buying guide so that they can kind of understand and know all the different steps of the process.
Sure have. So if you're thinking about purchasing a home, it's important to understand the process and the steps to take, from start to finish. We want to make sure that you go through each detail. You don't forget a step, because if you do, that can definitely delay closing. It can make the process one that's not enjoyable, and that's completely the opposite of what our team provides. So if you want to get a copy of the home buying guide, you can text the word contract to the phone number 555-888. So once again, to get the process and the steps of buying a home from start to finish, you can text the word contract to the phone number 555-888.
We provide that buying guide for you right there on your smartphone. Just text the word contract to 555-888, and we'll text you a link to download that guide from your phone. You can even email it to yourself for later viewing, or if you want to look at it on a computer later on, or print it out even. Text the word contract to 555-888 to get that buying guide from Angie Cole and the team at A. Cole Realty. Stay right there. Much more coming up on today's program. This is the Savvy Realtor with Angie Cole.
It's time for the mailbag. We want to hear from you.
Millie says, Angie, I've noticed that a lot of the information about my home on sites like Trulia, Zillow, etc. are completely wrong. Incorrect square footage, lot size, number of bedrooms, etc. Is this something you can help fix if we work with you when we go to sell our home this year? Because it seems like that would be important to have that stuff right.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Millie. And this is not uncommon. I always use this example, but my personal home was listed in Zillow as a duplex, and I live in a single-family detached home. I actually just looked up my home again on Zillow, and although it's been corrected to a single-family home, they have the bathroom count incorrect. So we oftentimes see that third-party websites like Zillow, Realtor.com, and Trulia can be inaccurate when it comes to displaying your home and all the features of your home. But do remember that once we list your home, those listings on the third-party websites are overridden by our MLS data newsfeed. So once we go active and on the market, the new listing, the accurate information that we put into our MLS database will then feed through to these third-party websites. Our team, we have an upper hand on this too, because we spend money with Zillow to become what's called a premier agent. And the great thing about a premier agent with Zillow is we can also market your home as a coming soon listing on Zillow. You must spend, unfortunately, to play with that company, is the way that it works. But by doing so, when we list your home as a coming soon in Zillow, again, there we can change all the information to make sure that it accurately reflects your true features and everything about your home. So not only will it change when you go active, but we can go ahead and change that information when you're listed as a coming soon with our team.
That's pretty cool to be able to do. And I know that a lot of people do start their searches on those third-party websites, but we try to emphasize a lot here on the program that for both buyers and sellers, it's so important to make sure that you're realizing that the MLS database is really the magic sauce here, Angie, that ends up being where most buyers, although you might casually start on these third-party websites, buyers are really going to end up relying on that MLS database and the portal that their realtor is setting up for them?
Yes, you're exactly right. So the MLS database is true, accurate information. It's real-time data too, which is important. And so in the MLS database, that's where we will go through all the specifics of your home. We will make sure that all information is accurate and is exact to, the way that your home should be displayed. And then from there, it will feed over and it will go correctly into the third-party websites.
Joe's writing in from Fuquay-Varina and says, I'm looking to buy a new house this year. I have the ability to pay cash for the home, but would prefer not to tie up all of that money into the home if I don't have to. Does it make me a stronger buyer to have an all-cash offer versus doing something like, I don't know, paying 50% of the home's cost instead?
Joe, it really is not going to make you that much of a stronger buyer in today's market. Paying all cash is not going to give you the additional leverage. Reason being is we are in such a strong seller's market that whether you pay cash or you get financing, most sellers will still get an offer, if not the first day, maybe a couple weeks after. But just because you're making a cash offer, that seller is not going to give you this huge discount on the home. So, I would do whatever is best for you and your financial situation. So whether it be put 50% down, put 20% down, 100% financing, it really doesn't make a difference. Now, if you are competing against other offers, can a cash offer be more attractive? Yes, 100%. But once again, a seller might decide to move forward with a financed offer if they're able to net more with that financed offer. So once again, just because you're a cash buyer does not mean that you're going to get this much better deal on the home that you're looking to purchase.
That's a really good point and something to definitely keep in mind there, Joe. But a great question, because you should, right, Angie, be looking for every way possible to make your offers more competitive if you're a buyer.
Yeah, 100%. It really depends on, it's a case-by-case basis. It depends on, are you the only offer on the table? How long has the home been on the market? Is the home currently priced correctly, or is it overpriced? So there's a lot that goes into negotiating the best price for you when we represent you on the buy side. It's not just a one scenario fits all. And so based on that situation, we can definitely give you better guidance when it comes to making an offer and making sure that all the terms are strong and they're also very attractive to the seller in order to get you the best value for the home.
Again, if you've got questions for Angie Cole and the team at A. Cole Realty, I invite you to call or text, and they can help navigate you through that process of buying or selling your home here in the Triangle. 919-538-6477 is the number to call or text. That's 919-538-6477. Angel is in Durham, and Angel says, my husband and I are hoping to move to Cary in the next year. We've just started looking at homes, but aren't really decided on a neighborhood in the area yet. How do you help people who are somewhat unfamiliar with an area find the right spot?
So, Angel, what I always tell our clients is really use the search kind of like a funnel. What I mean by there is let's first start off and let's focus on your area. And I know you've already narrowed that down where you want to be in the Cary location. But then from there, let's focus on your neighborhood. There is no point on focusing on a specific home if you dislike the neighborhood. So we're going from city or area down to neighborhood, then down to the home as far as getting just really, really specific. But, a great way to go about just getting familiar with the different areas within the Cary location is to be set up on a search within our database. Remember, when you're looking at third-party websites like Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, those are not always accurate and up to date. So it's important to be set up directly through our MLS database, because from there we can give you real-time information and data to share with you so then you can understand what Cary has to offer. So get set up on an automated search in our system based on your minimum requirements as far as, style of home, minimum bedrooms, minimum bathrooms. Also, your price point is super important. And then once you start to see homes that you feel like fit your needs that you like, I would say do some drive-bys. Start driving through the neighborhoods just to make sure that you like that neighborhood. Because once again, there is no point in stepping foot into a home that you think you're going to love if you dislike the neighborhood.
Yeah, and this is not a dislike of a neighborhood. It was just, personal story here is when we were looking to move from Durham, we looked at Morrisville, we looked at Cary, we looked at down in Fuquay Arena, and I was actually really sold kind of at first thought on maybe going South Raleigh, maybe going down into the Fuquay area. And just really liked what I was seeing in the home searches. And then I drove down there, and we spent a couple of Sunday afternoons just kind of zipping down there, driving around, went out to lunch at a couple of places down there. And, then we just did that in North Raleigh, and we kind of did the same thing. We were like, you know what? We really kind of like the North Raleigh area. And so we just kind of developed a change in mentality, what we originally thought we would want to do. and we ended up changing gears and ended up kind of moving to the North Raleigh area instead. So just some simple driving around, a little bit of base research like that was really helpful to us, Angel, and I'm sure would be helpful to you. We found Sunday afternoon to kind of be a good time to go down and just drive around. You get to see people out doing their thing, and you're not dealing with maybe all the traffic. You're kind of just getting to see things on kind of a normal everyday weekend day with sort of a nice feel. Do you have a suggestion for what people do? Like, is there a best day of the week to go check out, those neighborhoods and areas, Angie, that you recommend to folks?
Yeah, I mean, I would highly suggest doing that on the weekend. Reason being, when everyone's at work or at school, you're not really seeing what's going on during, what's real life look like when everyone's not at their home or in their neighborhood. So I would say go on a Saturday or a Sunday, kind of like you mentioned, and go to visit those neighborhoods, go to a local restaurant or shopping to see kind of what vibe or feel you get out of that area.
Yeah, that, and go at night, too. Take an evening drive by at some point when you get...
I always say, you know what, go 8 a.m. in the morning, 8 p.m. in the evening, and you can really see who lives where and what type of locations and just the feel and the ambiance, I guess, you get from that area.
Yeah, it can be more helpful than you might think. So, great question, Angel. Thank you for submitting that one to us. Got one more here to wrap up for the weekend. Comes to us from Marlo. Marlo writing in from Rollsville and says, I find the whole process of buying and selling a home very stressful. What does your team do to eliminate some of the stress associated with this whole ordeal?
Yeah, and it's always the fear of the unknown, which I completely get, Marlo. But what's important is how we handle the process. I always like to say that our team is like a well-oiled machine. And what that means is, we have everyone in place to get you through every single step throughout the process. We have our preferred vendors. So we have our lenders. We have our attorneys. We have our home inspectors. We also have a contract to close coordinators who will help to manage and handle everything on the back end when it comes to coordinating those inspections, coordinating your lender with your attorney. And so we are always one step ahead throughout the process. And from there, it will then create, a process that is then stress-free for you, exciting, seamless, and just an amazing process and experience. So once you've moved in, all you can do is just kind of breathe, take it all in. It's been a great experience throughout, and then you're just left with unpacking. But we have a great resource for that, too, if you need help.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of help when you work with a team like Angie Cole and A-Cole Realty. It's not just, okay, here's the paperwork. It's much more of a relationship when you're working with your team, right, Angie?
Oh, most definitely. Relationships are huge because remember, you're almost like married to us for a while. When it comes to buying a home, some people can find a home the first time they go out, but other people, we work with some people for a good over year, 2 years before they find the home because maybe they're not super serious about it. And then once you go under contract, we're looking at 30 to 45 days for another closing. So the relationship that you have with our team is very important because we will be speaking to you daily, weekly, monthly, depending on your timeline. So you want to make sure that you are working with a team that you truly enjoy and that you can trust as well.
You've been listening to the Savvy Realtor Podcast. I'm Walter Storholt alongside Angie Cole. She's the owner and broker in charge of A-Cole Realty here in the Triangle. And if you have questions for Angie, we invite you to go online to acolerealty.com. Listen to past podcast episodes on the website, read the blog, and all the great information, including the option to find a home right there on the website. That's acolerealty.com. And you can also call Angie with your questions, 919-578-3128.